Club of Tulsa, we are serving the needs and making a difference to people here in Tulsa and around the world. In our special program today, we're going to get to see firsthand how we're serving the needs of people here in Tulsa. So thank you for joining us. And thank you, Tom Wolf and Charlie Chittum, for that music. Yeah. And we've got some more special music for you today. We've got a packed program, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this. Jerry Dillon is going to lead us in our invocation. And then Vic Bailey is going to lead us in our song and pledge. And then Dr. Tom Allen is going to present a memorial resolution for our good friend Richard Gibbs. And then the Rotary Men of Note will be singing a special song requested by Richard, "It Is Well With My Soul." Jerry?
Thank you. Shall we pray? Father, we know that it's not too far stretch for us to assume that Rotary was prompted from you. The very essence of who you are, we sense in our service above self, the four-way test, the joy that's ours when we have served to help others. So we know that we're more blessed when we give than to receive, and that we want to do unto others as we want them to do unto us. So over 103 years ago, our wonderful club began, and we honor those who have served, those who are still serving, that believe in the very essence of what we're about, that we know pleases you. So today, we trust that you're leading us, that you've directed our steps, that you continue to inspire us. Your plans have been far greater than we could have ever dreamed. The promise of your presence to be with us spurs us on today. You are our sovereign Lord, source of strength. You make our feet to be like the feet of a deer, enabling us to go to new heights that we would never have dreamed to climb. We want you to reside in the deepest depths of our beings, in eternal union with your Spirit. We are learning it is at this deep level that your peace reigns continually. So we look forward with great excitement to what you have in store for us in the coming months. It's with thankful hearts that we ask you today to bless each one here, especially the Gibbs family, knowing that you love us more than anyone. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
This psalm came out of a period when our country was facing a difficult time, as we are now. Storm clouds were on the horizon. And now more than ever, we need God's blessing. So let us sing together with vigor and commitment. God bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is my pleasure to present a memorial resolution. Be it resolved that members of the Rotary Club of Tulsa learned with great sorrow of the death of Richard Russell Gibbs. He served in the Rotary Club of Tulsa for 39 years, was a Paul Harris Fellow, Club Foundation Fellow, and a Rotary Foundation benefactor. Richard was born on September 22, 1931, in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, to parents Merle and Lloyd, who was also a member of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Richard attended Will Rogers High School and then graduated from the University of Oklahoma in 1954 with a degree in mechanical engineering. He took over his father's company, the Lloyd T. Gibbs Company, and incorporated it as Automatic Engineering. He and his wife also owned Ann's Hallmark in Tulsa. Richard was a great family man, loving husband and father. He married Ann Sanders Anderson in 1957. She was a widow with 2 young daughters, Sherry and Teresa. He adopted them and raised them as his own. Richard and Ann added son Russell to the family, and Russell became the 3rd generation of Gibbs Rotarians. Richard was a very active man and was involved in many organizations, including the Rotary Men of Note and the Tulsa Men's Book Club. He was very involved in his fraternity, Alpha Sigma Phi. After retirement, he became very active in volunteer work. He loved volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, Junior Achievement, Reading Partners, Adopt a School at Cecilia Clinton, and Boston Avenue Methodist Church mission trips. His proudest achievement was his involvement in the Sandite Child Development Center in Sand Springs. He led the way in rebuilding a facility in that area. Richard enjoyed traveling around the world, especially cruising with his family. He loved going to the family cabin in Lake Tenkiller. His biggest love was spending time with his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. Richard will be remembered for his tireless energy, love of family and friends, his generosity, his quiet yet infectious sense of humor, and his unwavering faith in God. He was the consummate humanitarian, philanthropist, and gentleman. A quote from Will Rogers: "What constitutes a life well spent? Love and admiration of your fellow man is all one can ask." We suggest to all that Richard Gibbs had a life well spent. The Rotary Club of Tulsa will miss our dear friend. I move that this resolution be adopted by a standing vote of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. May we rise for a moment, silent tribute to the memory of Richard Gibbs.
At this point, I'd like to acknowledge the Gibbs family. And first of all, thank you so much for sharing Richard with us. He was such a genuine person, and I think anyone that knew him would tell you he was a great friend. And I know I learned a lot from him, and I feel blessed for having to know him. So thank you for sharing. So with us today is Ann Gibbs, Richard's wife, Joanne Collins, Richard's sister, Russell Gibbs, who we know very well, and Julie Gibbs, who we know very well. Thank you for being here, Julie. And then Jennifer Kuntz, granddaughter, Kathleen Oliveri, sorry about that, a niece, and then Rachel Oliveri, a great niece. So thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you being here. And again, Richard was a special person to us, and so we thoroughly enjoyed knowing him. And thank you, Rotary Men of Note. You guys look sharp, and you still got it. Thank you for leading us in song. Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome all of our guests and visiting Rotarians and ask if you would all please rise, and we will welcome you with a warm Rotary applause. Thank you for joining us on this special day. I'd like to thank this week's meeting sponsors whose sponsorships help defray the costs of running our organization here. Becky Fields with Maybury Bank, Katie Johnson with Upshaw Johnson, Darren Walkup with Commerce Bank, and then Peter Jensen with U.S. Signs. As always, we encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. I'd like to also, at this time, thank today's meeting volunteers who help make meetings run smoothly. Thank you, volunteers and sponsors. We have one committee meeting today. Excuse me. The IBA committee is meeting in room 233. We have several announcements. May is like a crazy busy month for this club. I mean, it's just every month I think we're busy, and every month gets busier. First of all, though, I'd like to say there are cards on the table for David Callan. David had heart surgery last week. He's recovering well, but please jot him a note of encouragement and keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He will appreciate that. So next week, next Wednesday, we are not meeting here. We are meeting at the Tulsa Zoo. And we ask that you please arrive at the main gate at like 11:15, because we're going to start serving meals at 11:30 so that we can then take a tour of the new Lost Kingdom. So you'll want to be there. I believe there are RSVP cards on your table. If you could please jot down that you're going to come, and hopefully you'll bring a guest and jot them down too so that we have a head count on food. Rotary Roses and Rosé, thank you, Becky Fields, is coming up next week, May 17th, 5:30 to 7 at Kip and Pat Lycom's house. Again, everyone is welcome. We ask that you please bring a potential Rotarian. This is a great casual get-together for potential Rotarians to meet existing Rotarians, so please sign up for that. I think we have just a few slots left. Medical Supply Network Workday is weekend after next on May 19th from 8 a.m. till noon. They need our help packaging up supplies so that we can send them off around the world to do good, so please sign up for that. Rotary Day at the Ballpark is May 21st. These next 2 weeks, if you want to do anything Rotary, you got lots of opportunities. May 21st, it's a noon game. It starts at 12:05. The gates open at 11. We have a suite. Tickets are $20. That includes the game and some food and beverages. So please sign up for that. We have a few slots left on that also. And that's something, if you can only come out for an hour or so, that's fine. It'd be great fellowship out there. And then we have Yearling University coming up on May 22nd at Synergy Building. Okay, the same place it's always at. So May 22nd, if you have not received an invite on that, get with Tina so we can get signed up for that. And that's all of our announcements. That's how busy we are. So now we're going to move into our program. Today we are going to recognize, celebrate our Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others." You, the members of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, know this quote all too well because that is exactly what you do. Service lies at the heart of who we are as Rotarians. We identify community needs, and then we match them with resources, building relationships, and solving problems along the way. You, our members, support the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation that funds our local work. In addition, because this group is so generous, we also support the Rotary International Foundation, which funds Rotary International projects. But today we're going to focus on the great local work that we do through our local foundation. And our history of community involvement is quite impressive. Since its inception in 1972, the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation has invested more than $6.8 million in the Tulsa community. Yeah. Organizations such as the Tulsa Boys Home, the Little Lighthouse, Operation Aware, Up with Trees, and the Salvation Army, just to name a few, have benefited from our generosity. And the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation also helps support international projects such as the Medical Supplies Network, Alliance for Smiles, and Heifer International. Our own Nicaragua water well drilling project illustrates the scope and magnitude of our international work, which is funded by our Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation. Since drilling that first well in 2003, we have drilled 515 wells. Yeah. And each one of those wells provides potable water to people that would not have that without that well. Our investment matters. The Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation funds community grants from earnings generated from the corpus of the fund. Contributions from individuals, Rotarians and non-Rotarians alike, coupled with monies generated by our signature fundraising event, the annual Henry P. Iba Citizen Athletes Award Banquet, add to the coffers of the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation every year. Under the leadership of the Club Foundation Grants Committee and the able guidance of the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation trustees, the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation is funding 4 grants this Rotary year at $17,000 per grant. At this time, I'd ask if you are a member of the Club Foundation Grants Committee, and if you are a foundation trustee, would you please stand so that we can thank you for the hard work that you do. You know, I've had the privilege of sitting in on committee meetings and trustee meetings, and these are 2 hard-working groups. They are watching out for our club. So this focus on fewer awardees than in past years allows for more substantial, change-making grants and affords a keener focus on the community that we support. Community projects that bear a discernible diversity and inclusion component receive special consideration by the Grants Committee. The Rotary Club of Tulsa partners with organizations that exemplify best practices in the nonprofit arena and affirmatively seeks out organizations that assist underserved mothers and children in our community. This primary focus, however, does not preclude other organizations serving different community needs from being considered for grants. Every member of this club contributes to the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation. And many Rotarians, as we're going to hear in a little bit, expand their support by becoming Club Foundation Fellows, and many people donate other services to help support the foundation. The Rotary Club of Foundation is a 501c3 operation that recognizes various levels of tax deductible contributions. So I want to say congratulations to our 4 grantees this Rotary year. They are the Lindsay House, the South Tulsa Community House, the Greenwood Cultural Center, and New Hope, Oklahoma. Grantees, we would like for you to know that the grants approved by our club board and foundation, again, are among the largest in our history. As noted, our new grant-making model facilitates larger gifts with deeper impacts, gifts that empower both you, our grantees, and our members. We do appreciate the work that you do. Your grant signifies our investment in your efforts to improve quality of life for all Tulsans. We commit to you that we will work collaboratively with you to identify opportunities for our club members to engage with your organization's mission work. As Rotarians, we believe in service above self. The organizations before you today engage in that work, in work that demonstrates that credo. So now let's take a moment to hear from this year's grant recipients. And I'm going to ask Sergeant-at-Arms Charles to come up, and Charles will invite each grantee forward to share a few words about their organization and how they will invest our grant in the advancement of their service to their clients. Charles?
Great. Thank you, Mike. All right. Very privileged to be up here today to introduce these wonderful people. And the first up is going to be Tiffany Egdorf, Lindsay House. And she's right there. Wow.
Thank you. Like you said, I'm Tiffany Egdorf, and I'm the president and CEO of Transitional Living Centers of Oklahoma, which is the parent company or parent organization to the Lindsay House. I want to say thank you to all of our staff and board that are here today. If you all would please stand very quickly. And while they're standing, these folks are a wealth of information, so stop any one of them before you leave, and we would love to share opportunities to get involved. There are many. Thank you all. Our mission is to help women with children move from homelessness and dependency to complete independence through intense life skills and financial literacy training. During that time, we provide them a safe, nurturing place to live so that they can learn those skills and then practice and live them out. Our facility is a critical part of our program, and we are so thankful to the members of this club for making this grant to us possible. Some of the projects that we will use this money for, there are many of them. We have more than enough projects to cover the grant, but some of the big ones are replacing our attic fan. Our building was built in 1925, and so that attic fan is a critical piece to keep the hallways cool for sure. Replacing air conditioning and heating units. We'll also be doing a replacement of all of our interior doors for safety purposes so that they're all fireproof and safe to enter and exit with the locking system. There are some other projects as well. With that, because our facility is such an integral part of what we do, I would invite each and every one of you to contact me, I'm in DACDB, or from our website, lindsayhouse.org, and we would love to have you come out for a tour. We have just a short time to share a piece of our story with you, and the best way for us to do that, to really give you a sense of what we do as a program, is to have one of our graduates share a piece of her story with you. So I'd like for you all to welcome Heidi.
Hi, I'm Heidi, and I'm an addict in recovery. I was in my addiction for 29 years. I've been clean for 4 on the 19th. Before coming, before coming to the Lindsay House, I had been homeless with my children for about 3 years. Eventually, DHS stepped in and removed them. I couldn't manage my life after they were gone, and I quickly spiraled out of control. I was arrested on several charges, and I was offered the Women in Recovery program. There I was taught valuable life skills and given an opportunity to heal my past. I started working with DHS and was given supervised visits with my children at Family and Children's Services. I had heard about the Lindsay House program and put my application in because I was not prepared to impress DHS. In June of 2014, I was accepted into the Lindsay House program. At this point, I only needed stable housing for my girls to come home to me. I had just graduated family drug court, and I was in phase 2 at Women in Recovery. The Lindsay House had been such a blessing to us. My girls came home, and we had a very beautiful and safe space to come home to and begin our healing. We walked into an amazing apartment building, beautiful and secure. Inside was warm and welcoming, and I knew that my life was truly about to change. I met with the Lindsay House staff, and they took me upstairs to my new home. It was fully furnished, it was clean, it was bright and wonderful, and it was mine. I was going to finally bring my children home, and we were going to be great. There was the brightest light at the end of the darkest tunnel. We lived at the Lindsay House for 2 years. In that time, I graduated family drug court. My DHS case was closed. I graduated Women in Recovery. I paid off my debt. I bought a car. I maintained employment. I enrolled and supported my girls in their education and their therapy. My oldest stayed with us for a while, and that relationship has healed. She's currently a junior at NSU and is majoring in therapy. I was also given temporary custody of my nephew by DHS, and that's saying something because they did not like me. Lindsay House taught me valuable life skills that I did not have. They have regular case management with me so I could learn budgeting, money management, and how to live healthy and comfortable within my means. They've taught me how to prepare meals and given me the pans and support needed for that, and the opportunity in a safe and wonderful home to put these practical life skills into practice. Thank you all for everything that you do to support this wonderful organization.
President Mike, there goes our no tears policy this year. Almost the whole way. Very sweet story. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful. All right, next up, Francis Jordan Rakestraw with Greenwood Cultural Center. Oh, everybody's on the front row. Good to see you.
Good afternoon. The mission of the Greenwood Cultural Center is to preserve and promote positive images of the African American community by providing educational and cultural experiences, promoting intercultural exchange, and promoting cultural tourism. With this grant, we will purchase a retractable screen, an HD projector that will be placed in the foyer of the center and allow the Greenwood Cultural Center to visually tell the story of Greenwood and generate additional income by enhancing our facility for daily tours and rentals. The tourists and students who visit the center will be able to learn about the dynamic history of Greenwood District and Black Wall Street. On behalf of the Board of Directors and staff, thank you so much to the Rotary Club of Tulsa for this grant and your continued support. I'd like to invite everyone to come to the center. It's a beautiful place, and I'd just like for you guys to see what we do there.
All right, our third recipient, Karen K. Streeter with South Tulsa Community House.
I find it ironic. And first of all, I'm glad I don't have to follow Lindsay House. Thank you. And if you talk to us long enough, the stories are amazing. Our connections. I worked with Lindsay House. Lindsay House had one of its special events at the Cultural Center. And I'm sure if we talk to New Hope, we'll find a connection there. So much like Tulsa, our nonprofit world is small and connected, and we're so grateful. But I hadn't planned on saying that. I do want to thank you on behalf of our board of directors, and two of them have joined us today, our president, Rob Sellers, and past president, Doug Cruz. We want to thank you for the opportunity to be here and to receive this grant. South Tulsa Community House serves Riverwood. I imagine many of you don't know what Riverwood is. If I say the word 61st and Peoria, I imagine you now know the community that we serve. We're much more than the image of 61st and Peoria. South Tulsa Community House serves an area from 51st to 71st, Riverwood to Lewis. In that area, childhood poverty is at 50%. It's Tulsa's most densely populated community, and it includes Tulsa's second most food insecure area. It's a vulnerable community. At South Tulsa Community House, we serve as a one-stop social service organization designed to not only meet basic needs like food insecurity, but to help people live more productive, self-sufficient lives. We do that by partnering with others. Clients can come to South Tulsa Community House, and I have to look at my list because it's so long. A client can attend a GED or an ESL class. They can get legal assistance from a legal aid attorney. They can meet with a case manager or a therapist. They can receive medical care from St. John's. They can apply for Sooner Care and other services. They can get diapers, wipes, and formula. And that's just our partners. There's our work as well. Our food pantry last year processed over 400,000 pounds of food, and that is basically enough food for 101,000 meals. So we're definitely attacking the issue of food insecurity in that community. We also provide bus tokens, hygiene supplies, diapers, extra food servings to veterans and seniors. Now, we cannot do that much work without good friends. And today we're celebrating our friendship with you. And it doesn't just begin or end with a check that you've given us. It's going to hopefully continue with an ongoing relationship, whether it's volunteers, collecting food, or getting involved in other things with our organizations. What we have been able to do with your resources, or we will do, first of all, we've already renovated an unused storage space into an office. And that space is now being used by Emergency Infant Services, the Tulsa Health Department, and Improving Lives Counseling Services. They love the space, and so do we. Next, we're going to purchase commercial refrigeration and commercial freezer for our food pantry. By doing that, we're going to increase our ability to give fresh produce, dairy, and meat to the families that we serve. And then finally, and most appropriate on a day like today, we're going to replace one of the 14 heating and cooling units in our facility and be able to have a much more energy efficient approach to heating our facility. So those are the three main things that we're going to be doing with your investment. The thing that I would close with today, besides saying thank you, is I think today is definitely evident that this club is committed to its values. I know that community service is something of importance to you, and what I know that that calls you to do is to invest in your community, help improve lives, and this grant demonstrates that you're improving lives all across Tulsa. And on behalf of South Tulsa Community House, we're very thankful. Thank you.
All right, our fourth recipient is New Hope, Oklahoma, and Johnny Bouchard. There he is. All right.
Thank you all. First of all, it's incredibly flattering to be here with such fellow great organizations. And congratulations on 4 years. That's just outstanding. I'm proud of you. New Hope, Oklahoma started as a 3-day camp for 4 children in 1992 when a group of volunteers doing work down in Muskogee realized that all prisoners in our prison system here in Oklahoma, regardless of history or offense, had the same concern: what's happening to my kiddos once I leave the household? Fast forward 26 years, we now have after-school programs in 13 areas of Tulsa Public Schools, several areas in Oklahoma City as well. We have community programming for 190 kids on site on Monday and Tuesday nights. We have weekend retreats and holiday parties. We have case management services. Of course, we still have summer camp. And last year, we were able to help over 560 individual kiddos, not including siblings and caregivers and relatives. The problem here in Oklahoma, though, as some of you may know, we lead the nation in female incarceration rates. And the announcement is going to come out next month. We're now number 2 in male incarceration rates. Woohoo! So as much as we've grown, our waiting list has grown almost exponentially as well. The grant through the Rotary Club Foundation of Tulsa, Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation, is going to be used for twofold. Number one, yesterday we took delivery of our brand new 12-passenger van, which is going to allow us to go and pick up some kiddos and bring even more to our community programs. And the second half will be used. Our computer systems, our laptops are so old that when we took one in to be repaired, the guy said, first he brought the rest of the staff in to come see this artifact. And then he said, you can't fix it, like it's beyond, it's a paperweight now. So we're gonna be getting new laptops for our entire programming staff. I know most of the time when we get up as organizations, we're supposed to tell incredibly heart-wrenching sob stories, but I don't like to do that. I prefer to tell a story of one of our kiddos who overcame some of her challenges. And we don't normally name names, but this was very public knowledge, so I don't have a problem doing that. Aisha Phillips has been in New Hope's family for longer than she can remember. She came in at age, we believe, 4 or 5, longer than any of our staff has been with the organization, which our longest staff member is 7 years, and came out of a home situation that can only be described at best as horrific. Now, last summer, His Honor Mayor Bynum agreed to come and talk to our kiddos one-on-one for our annual mayoral luncheon. And at the end of the luncheon, Aisha went up to Mayor Bynum and said, so what's a sister got to do to get a key to the city around here? And Mayor Bynum said, well, normally they have to do something of note. What have you done of note? And taking offense, Aisha said, well, Your Honor, I was going to go to Oberlin College to accept my full-ride scholarship through their pre-medical program, but I can't because for the last 2 years I've been doing clinical research to isolate a specific breast cancer gene that's found in African-American women. What have you done since you took office? And that's how June 27, 2017 came to be known as Aisha Phillips Day in the city of Tulsa, and how she has the key to the city hanging over her bed in her bedroom now. So dollars like yours, the investment that you're making is going to help us make more stories like that happen. Just 2 weeks ago, one of our sophomores, De La Shea, was accepted into a Harvard summer study program. Unfortunately, the cost was $27,000, and she was awarded $20,000 in a scholarship, but still had $7,000 to come up with. I suggested she do a public funding campaign. At noon, I suggested she do a public funding campaign. And when she arrived at our facility at 4 o'clock, I said, hey, let's talk about this. And she said, fool, that's already been funded. $7,000 was raised in 45 minutes. I'm going. And I said, fantastic. So you guys, your dollars are being put to good work. On behalf of our kiddos, on behalf of my board, our staff, our volunteers, our community, and on behalf of the other organizations, thank you all so much for what you're doing, because service above self, if you guys don't totally embody that, I don't know who does. Thank you guys very much.
Grant recipients, we salute you for the work you're doing. We are proud to be able to support you. Grant committee, excellent job. These are excellent choices, great opportunities for investment of our funds. And I encourage everyone here, we really want to get engaged with these groups. And they want us to get engaged with them. That was part of the application process. So reach out to myself or Tina or Stephen Robards, and we will provide you with connections to these great organizations so you can get involved hands-on. Okay, at this point, I would like to introduce Luann Buehlinger. Luann is chair of our Club Foundation Development Committee. And I'd also like to invite Vice Chairs Del Dreyer and Tom Klenda to the podium. Luann?
Hello, and thank you very much, President Mike. On behalf of the trustees of our Club Foundation and the Club Foundation Development Committee, made up of past President Del Dreyer, past President Tom Klenda, and myself, it's our honor to recognize 13 Rotarians whose monetary gifts over time have raised them up to the next level of recognition. As you may know, there's many ways to give to our foundation, including paying Sarge fines or purchasing your IBA Awards ticket, and even direct donations for certain causes. And your gifts add up over time, and we recognize those levels by presenting Rotarians with lapel pins indicating their achievement. So I will now introduce those Rotarians, ask them to come up in front of the stage so that we can show them our thanks. And we'll hold our applause until all have been introduced. So our newest fellows with total gifts between $500 and $2,500 include Pedro Figueroa, Mary Staton, and Hy Camp. Please come up in front of the stage. Our bronze fellows who have given between $2,500 and $7,500 include Tom Wolf, Jarl Johnson, John Minnelli, Jerry Stamper, and Frank Sanders. Our silver fellows who have given between $7,500 and $15,000 include Gordon Greer, Tricia Kirkstra, and Bob Reed. And our newest gold fellow with gifts between $15,000 and $25,000 is Rhonda Hayes. Let's give them all a round of applause. We'll get a quick picture. All righty, and now I'm going to turn over the program to past President Del Dreyer and past President Tom Klenda to present our Pillar of the Community Award.
Good afternoon. To reach the Pillar of Community Award at the Rotary Club of Tulsa, one has to contribute a total of $50,000 to our foundation. It is my honor to present past President Jeff Hassel with his award for reaching this level of contribution. Jeff?
They made the mistake of giving a lawyer and past president the podium. It's pretty easy to see how someone would be motivated to give when you hear presentations like the ones we had today, and I know that's just the tip of the iceberg. So all of you who are contributors to the foundation, those who were honored today, I think you can go home and go to bed tonight, see your family, and tell them that your donations were well worth the investment in the community. The last thing I will say, I have to say this, is that I certainly am honored to take credit for this, but some of this is attributable to my firm, which is made up of generous individuals at Gable Gottwalls who agreed with me on the merit of the causes that we support. And so if you know anybody from Gable Gottwalls other than me, or ever hear of them here or there or anywhere, just keep in mind that they are part of this as well and deserve some of the thanks too. So onward and upward, I hope to see someone else in my shoes next time we do one of these ceremonies. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and to all of the rest of you who have made contributions in the past. We thank you, and it'll be your turn one day to come back up here and receive the next level as folks did today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Luann, Del, and Tom, and congratulations, Jeff, and congratulations to all of today's recipients. We appreciate you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome back to the stage our Rotary Youth Exchange inbound student, Carlo Iafisco. Carlo is going to share a few words about his time here in Tulsa. And before I hand over the podium to you, buddy, I want to introduce some very special guests that have cared for and nurtured Carlo this past year. Sorry. That was kind of awkward, I admit it. So first of all, I'd like to thank Terry Taverner, the first host family for Carlo, and then Joy and Fred Andrachek, the second host family, and then Yvonne and Brian DeFabio, the third host family. And then it took a lot of families to take care of you, didn't it? Wow. And then you had a counselor, Tony Oliva. Thank you, Tony. And then Duff Weddle and Jerry Stamper, too, for all the hard work that you put into taking care of this young man this year. So, Carlo, now you can have the podium.
Well, thank you, everyone. There should be a presentation coming up. All right, there it is. So, I come from Italy. I come from the city of Milan. It's, as many of you probably know, it's a pretty big city. It's around, it has 4 times the population of Tulsa. And the one that you see there is the Duomo, the main cathedral in Milan. It's probably the most important building. It's actually older than probably any building that exists here in the US. And so, of course, that's a cathedral. So you go in there just to pray, but around there, as you can see also from the picture where there are some people, it's an area where me and my friends like to hang out with. So a very big part of my everyday life in Italy consists of staying around there, but mostly in this area, the Navigli in Milan. There are 2 circular artificial rivers. They are concentric, so there is a bigger one and a smaller one in the inside. And they were designed by Leonardo da Vinci. And all the nightlife in Milan revolves around this area. And it's a very nice place. I spend a lot of time there with my friends. But actually, the main point of my life in Italy probably is school, because unlike here in Italy, you cannot just pick your own classes. You can choose the kind of school that you want to do. And when I had to go to high school, I made the wise decision, I guess, in the long run, but not in the short run, to go to a scientific school that requires a lot to study for me. And so that's where most of my time is spent while I'm there. And school in Italy is a lot different than it is in here. Here is a picture of a gym in my school in Italy. It's a public school. We don't really have a whole lot of private schools in Italy. And so, I mean, when I got here, and thanks to the Rotary Club, I had the opportunity to go to Bishop Kelly. Obviously, I was amazed by how beautiful the school is, and I was amazed also by how beautiful all the public schools here are, like Union or Booker T. Washington and many others. They're all very nice places. I had the opportunity to visit some of them, and they're really beautiful places. And so I think that it's something that is definitely a nice part of my life here. The school is very nice. So now I'm gonna talk briefly about the 3 host families. So my first host family was Terry Taverner and Jim Webster. So when I got here, I didn't know anything. Surprisingly, my accent was even worse than it is now. So it was even harder than it is now to understand what I was saying. And they still managed to help me, and also their son, Garrett, who is now an exchange student with the Rotary by himself in Japan. They really helped me out. Garrett was driving me to school during the first week, and he presented me to the other kids and helped me make a very strong friendship since the very first day. So it was it was very, very nice of him. And I also had the opportunity to go with Jim to a lot of the Tulsa Roughnecks games. As you probably know, in Italy, soccer is the main sport. It's probably even more popular than football is here because it's the only sport that we have, basically. So you don't really have that much of a choice, you know. So I had the opportunity to go there and watch a lot of games, and it was very nice. And I had a lot of nice conversations also with Terry, and so I'm very grateful for that. My stay was definitely worth the time, and I'm so grateful. Thank you again. My second host family, Fred and Joy Onderchak, it was amazing. I went with them to a Crystal Bridge Museum, and we visited Arkansas, and it was a great stay. I think that Crystal Bridge is probably the main museum in this Central America area, and it was very, very great. It was the first time for me to see some actual American art that wasn't pop art. So I mean, there were some Liechtenstein paintings, for example, but I was used to them, and I was mainly amazed by the older paintings that were towards the entrance, and even if they were probably less important than the actual pop art pieces that they had, it was the first time for me to see how the first people that got here in the 1500s and the 1600s were seeing these very open spaces, and so seeing those paintings was really mind-blowing for me. And again, I had a lot of fun. Both Fred and Joy really love nature, and it's something that it's not really my thing, you know, but it's thanks to them if now I kind of appreciate it a bit more. So I'm really grateful for that, because it's definitely one of the main things that I learned in my stay here, to appreciate more nature. And moving on with my third host family, Brian and Devon DeFabio, it was great, and it's still great because I'm still staying with them at least for another month. So they have 2 kids, and I'm an only child. So it was the first time for me to live with other kids, and they're a 12-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy, and it's different, definitely. It's not that I don't like it, but it takes time to get used to it, and it's definitely something that I'm glad I have the opportunity to experience. And with them I went to Table Rock Lake, which was great. We saw buffaloes, and we ate buffalo hamburgers like right after. Even there, it was a big natural park where we went, and I mean, as I already said, I'm not really into nature. I mean, Milan is like a metropolis, so I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure I'm gonna like it, but I really liked it. We also did some extreme go-karting that was really fast, and I liked it a lot. And we did a lot of other activities. We were also with them with a family of their friends, and I really had a lot of fun. And I'm thankful, really, because all these 3 host families, and also, as President Mike already said, my counselor Tony Oliva, Jerry, and Duff, and also Trisha with their camps and all this stuff to have me meet new Rotary Exchange students. It's really great. I managed to make a lot of new friendships, and I really learned a lot of stuff. If I look at myself the way I was before coming here, I changed for the better, definitely, and so for this I'm really grateful to all of them, and also to the whole Rotary Club for hosting me. It's been an amazing experience, and it's almost over, but it's never gonna be over thanks to all the things that I learned, so thank you so much.
Carlo, thank you. We are better for knowing you too. So thank you. for being with us this year. Thank your parents. Thank you, host families. It sounds like you all had a lot of fun, but I know it's a lot of work, too, inviting someone into your home, so we appreciate all the work that you do. Okay, Bill Miller, Vocational Minute. The clock is ticking.
Thank you, President Mike. Let me take just a minute and tell you about Bank First. So there's a lot of banks out there. Which one's Bank First? Bank First is the bank with those cool commercials on TV that start out as the Oklahoma Prairie, and slowly it becomes the University of Oklahoma campus, or the Prairie becomes Tulsa or Claremore. That's us. We're also the bank that's grown to $7.6 billion in assets. What does that mean? It equates to a legal lending limit of about $200 million. In other words, Mike, I can't loan you more than $200 million or I might go to jail.
Oh, okay.
We're also the bank that is located right here in Oklahoma. We're in 58 communities, and we have over 100 different banking locations spread across the state. In terms of deposit market share for Oklahoma deposits, Bank First is number 2. But because of our spread throughout the state, more individuals and companies have accounts with Bank First than any other bank. Our trust department manages an additional $4.5 billion in trust assets. At Bank First, I select and manage commercial banking relationships, as does Paul Baumann. Monty Curry directs our trust activities here in Tulsa, and Gordon Greer, most recently, has been a member of our board of directors. He's chaired our executive committee, which is a big deal, and he's also a member of our senior loan committee, so be nice to Gordon. We are Bank First, loyal to Oklahoma, loyal to you.
Thank you, Bill. Sounds like you have plenty of money. I may be down to see you. Sarge, how you doing, buddy?
We're really going to have to. Small world. Hi, Yvonne. How you doing? Working out. I was like, all of a sudden, wait a second, I know that person. All right, wonderful. I'm going to go fast because, I get pushed down. Start of the year is right up front. Now it's all of a sudden down to the end, and I don't know, by June I'll probably not even be on the schedule. So anyway, first up, I got to go with Stephen Robart, who did a wonderful job with this foundation day. He paid $200 fine just to make sure I wouldn't sing. And so I won't. Stephen, money well vested. Thank you very much. And then Prima Donna Braddock, she is involved with the Girls Teen Summit. She was featured in Tulsa People magazine. Prima Donna, you're out there. Congratulations, very nice. Thank you very much for the $100 fine. Speaking of fines, Mary Staton, you are also in Tulsa People. To tell you, turn the pages, the next thing you are there representing your company, MST. They handle Volkswagens, air coolers, and vintage. Air-cooled. I should get that word down. I'm kind of that anyway. All right. Let's see here. And then the next one, Rhonda, she is our newest grandmother here. It's hard to believe. A grandmother of 6. So that's why it's $300 per, $50 per child. So you can keep on, encouraging those children of yours to help our foundation, okay? Thank you very much. Congratulations. And segue, and I guess if anybody forgot, this Sunday is Mother's Day, right? So Sarge's pick of the week is this. It's moms versus dads. I don't know if you can tell the difference there. The great thing about the dad is he's actually smiling and enjoying the whole process of watching his son, or daughter, I think it's a son, go totally out of control. So anyway, that would be me too. And obviously keep me in mind for fines with the Sarge. Now I gotta come clean. There was a security video that came out that had me in it, and I, as a representative of your, team, I figured I better go ahead and just share it. Yeah, come clean.
Oh, hey, Paulie. Hey, how's it going? It's a little rough time. Hey, our Rotary Club is going out to the zoo this week on the 16th, and we got to be there at 11:15 a.m. early. You should go with me. We'd have a good time. In fact, isn't your Aunt Bertie out there? Oh, forgot about the incident back in 2014. Not good at all. All right, well, hey, maybe another activity. We have them all the time. By the way, have you had lunch? Are you interested in having lunch? I had Mike for lunch. Wow, that sounds really filling. All right, take care.
It was funnier
so
when we
actually,
filmed it.
the funny thing about that was I was supposed to be in the costume, and Mike got so excited about the costume, he said, "Let me be in the costume." And I
had
feel if
fun.
anything I've accomplished this year, I've rubbed off enough on you that
It
you're
was
now
fun.
you're prepared to be sergeant next year.
We've had fun.
There we
haven't
go.
I think we're having more fun than we're showing, but we need to buy some new video equipment, obviously, if we're going to take this show on the road. Okay, and we're going to have to do something next year after this year, aren't we? Okay, so Tulsa Zoo next week. Do not show up here. 11:15, main gate. Okay? And then the week after that, on May 23rd, we've got a great speaker, Peggy Grande, who was the executive assistant to former President Ronald Reagan. And if you've gone out and looked at videos of her online interviews and stuff, she is going to be a dynamic speaker. So you'll want to show up for that. In addition to Peggy, we're going to have a special musical memorial that'll be provided to salute Rotarians that have passed on this past year. So it'll be a nice memorial resolution. So thank you for everyone involved in today's meeting today. I know it was packed full. And for everyone else, please, I encourage you again, go out and tell your Rotary story, and don't forget to bring a friend to Rotary next week. We are dismissed.